Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, keep things moving here. Glad that technology did not shoot us down today. So I know how that works. I've been on both sides of that. So welcome everybody to Empire Masterminds. I appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. Um, like I said, I was hoping Aaron would be here to give us a quick update. So it looks like he hopped on and had to hop off. So maybe we can catch him at the end. Um, in the meantime, we have Holly Littlefield with America's Preferred Home Warranty with us today. Warranties have been around a long time, and I'm certainly don't want to take anything away from Holly's presentation, but I think a lot of agents, we could be using these in so many different ways to really maximize our business, help our clients, really kind of bulletproof transactions, lots of the fun things. So, Holly, I will let you introduce yourself and then take it away.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I appreciate you. So, guys, I am feeling the need for a home warranty literally today myself as well. And I thank God I have one. I woke up to water spewing from a hole now in the garage roof. So it's either roofing with all the rain we had, or plumbing. So I am a single woman. I don't know how to fix anything. And without a home warranty, I would have been a frantic mess and I would have stayed renting because I'm one of those people that stayed renting because it was very low maintenance. Something breaks, I call somebody and they fix it, right? So, but I was blessed with home ownership. So I also get to share the stresses of it as well. But hey, that's the way it is. My agent purchased one for me, and that was a life-saving resource that she did for me, and also gave me peace of mind. So I don't want to throw at you, I work with America's Preferred Home Warranty, and I like to call us APHW for short because I feel like everybody has the same words in their name and their company name, and it gets very confusing who is who. And so I like to refer to us as APHW. That makes it a little bit easier. Um, the biggest uniqueness to us is that we allow the homeowners to choose their own licensed contractors. So we're not going to give them a list to pick from. We're not going to send somebody out there to them. They can pick whoever they want to use. That can be good lead feed for you guys, or it can just be, somebody that they've used forever or family member. It doesn't matter. As long as they're licensed, we don't care. And then they schedule themselves. They're not having to work with the company and having us bottleneck that whole process. Now, the slides that I want to put up, Kelly, kind of fall in line with what you were saying. As far as, you said you were working with your first foreclosure. Well, the stats that I want to share here are related to some of the risks. That's one of the things I've been hearing a lot about right now in the marketplace is risk management is becoming, one of the reasons people are pushing back in the market right now. So I am sorry, I'm used to Teams here. Down at the bottom, I just want to share my screen more. Nope, more was not the right option. Share screen, there we go. Can you see what I have on my screen? Yes, Kelly's shaking her head. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, we gotcha.
All right, perfect. All right, let me just make this bigger here. Okay. Again, I can attest to this firsthand that this is true. So this was a poll that was done back in 2022, which is still very relevant today. And these numbers are probably higher actually today. But a group of first-time home buyers were polled. All right. 62% of the group had repairs within the first 6 months, 28%, as you can see, within the first month, 16% within the first week. I just closed on March 11th, and I've already had to get my garage door repaired. And now I've got a leak. It's either from the roof or it's a plumbing leak. So I can attest to this firsthand. What I really want to do here is mostly talk about the risk management issues. And I'm actually going to get back out of this again. Right here, I'd love if this could be more of an open forum, you guys. Are you seeing multiple offers, right? Over the list offer still, waiving any additional costs and contingencies like home inspections? Okay, because I had to waive a home inspection and I wish I hadn't have, but I had to in order to get my offer to go. Are you seeing that? I see he's shaking his head no. Anybody else?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are. Yep.
Okay. So this is another reason why, coming from the buyer's perspective, okay, putting a home warranty on should more or less be part of hand holding and leading your customers down the path to success, right? If you're not purchasing one for them, then I would automatically be talking about why they need one. It's there for peace of mind. It is there for budget assistance, especially if they're having to waive a home inspection. Okay. I've already got a claim and it's been 2 months, and I have 2 claims actually that I've already paid out, and that it's more than paid for itself within the first call that I had to make. What we are able to do with any home warranty, not just us, is help buffer between all parties in the transaction. So the best way to think about, well, what actually does a home warranty do, right? Think of the acronym of PEACH, P-E-A-C-H, all right? Like a piece of fruit. So we cover plumbing, electrical, appliances, central heating and air, the bigger systems of the home. And as you can see on the slide here, the home systems and appliances that break down are costly, untimely, and stressful. Very true. 83% of the homeowners closing without a warranty are left to deal with issues on their own. This is also true. The budget assistance is the best way to describe what is a home warranty good for. Guys, can anybody tell me what is the number one reason that a deal closes without a warranty?
Money.
Money? That's a good answer. Anybody else?
Not just not talked about, probably, or mentioned.
Right.
Or the house is too new and they feel they don't need
That's a
it.
very good point. Right. And isn't that old adage, they don't make them like they used to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my garage door, just to weigh into that, the newer things are breaking down more than the older things, right? Whether it's an appliance, especially guys, if it was built during COVID, because they were short so many different pieces and parts during then, right? So when the guy came out to fix my garage, I'm like, all right, if you had to replace all of this, just give me a guesstimate so that I know what I'm looking at. And he's like, Holly, you're not going to have to replace this for another 20 years because it was built in 1995. I'm like, thank God for that, because it was built in 1995, right? So that's a good thing. So all I had to do was, there was something wrong in the motor and the gear, and he fixed that for me, and he gave me a couple of brand new key fobs for it. So that's a good thing. But they don't make them like they used to. So the newer ones break down more often. Now, I can tell you that the package that our agents opt for is $825. Okay. And that's with the buyer's preferred upgrade. I'm only talking about package dollars and cents because that package more than paid for itself with my first call to the garage door guy. More than paid for itself. So without that, I would have been out of pocket $1,885 for his time, his labor, and his materials. Okay. So that home warranty, I paid $125 out of my own pocket. Okay. Everything else was covered by the warranty company and the claim. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, and I'm putting this to you in real life because I am now an emotionally tied to person when it comes to home warranties. Even before I worked for this company, I had an emotional tie to them because my sister and I have both been single, unfortunately, for a very long time. And I always told her when she bought her home, you need to make sure you put a home warranty on it because we don't know how to fix things. And once our father passed away, that was the one guy that did know how to fix things. So, that comes into play a whole lot. All right. That we don't need. All right, list secure. This is huge for you guys. When you are working with a seller and you put a buyer's warranty on with your listing, we're going to provide your seller with some protection up to 2 years post-sale. In the event of a legal issue, and we've already been talking about legal issues are popping up all over the place. We're going to provide them with up to $2,000 out of pocket, or excuse me, up to $2,000, $2,500. Can you guys see, or is my little picture thingy in the way? Whoops.
Yep, I can see.
All right. I'm going to leave it there and minimize that. Okay. If I can go back to the previous screen, $2,500 if they have any legal issues or any legal claims that come up. That could be a boundary dispute. That could be something as small as the property, the room dimensions were listed incorrectly and they purchased furniture based off of incorrect square footage on the rooms. And that's an actual, that really did happen. But whatever, it doesn't matter. 2 years post-sale, we will pay out up to $2,500 for them for any legal issues. Now, have you heard of that ever before?
Mm-mm.
Anybody else? That's another reason for you to have a touch point with them. We're very big on helping you guys get your referrals and lock down additional reasons to talk to your customers and lock down your referrals. Okay, so if you hear that they're going through something that's legally related, call them and remind them, hey guys, do you remember when you put that buyer's warranty on your home? You've got list secure protection, which is that 2 years post-sale coverage. So don't forget to file a claim and have the warranty company help you with some budget assistance towards your legal fees. Then that helps you look like a hero, right? During the listing period, our warranties don't get paid for until closing time. So we also help the sellers keep their home in tip-top shape during listing. So if any of these items that you see on the screen here were to go down during listing, which listing could be indefinite, they can open a claim and we'll pay out on them. That'll help get those things fixed, right? If you see their plumbing, electrical, hot water heater, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
If you've done the next thing I'm going to talk about is the second risk management tool, and that is called Client Secure. So we talked about List Secure, which is for your sellers. We're going to now talk about Client Secure, which is our second risk management tool, and that is for brokers and agents. When you are doing your due diligence and talking about home warranty with your customers, whether they're a seller or a buyer, if they just say, no, thank you, we just do not want any budget assistance, we'd rather pay full out of pocket for anything that breaks. Okay. If they sign this waiver here, you guys, and you hold on to it, we're going to give you what's called Client Secure. Client Secure is post-sale legal protection for you guys. All right. It's for the brokers and the agents. So we'll pay out up to 75% of your E&O deductible, which is a $3,750 benefit. If they did purchase a warranty and an E&O issue pops up and they went with the Premier or the Gold package, we'll pay out up to $5,000. Now, for those of you that are on the call that might be in a broker type of relationship, or you're the broker owner, when you've got protection like this in place, this allows you to lower your overhead because you can raise your deductible on your E&O, knowing that you've got some coverage here. We're going to pay out up to $5,000. So that allows you a little bit of relief there. You're able to put your liability insurance with a higher deductible. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that's the second form of protection that we like to talk about with you guys. Contractor of choice, we've already mentioned. So I am going to stop sharing for a moment here. For the people that are on the call, when are you talking about a home warranty?
I think a lot of times, unfortunately, probably comes up when you're writing an offer, right? You would say, well, I take that back. When I'm dealing with sellers, you're talking about it when you're going over the listing contract, right? And so you can talk about, the option to use that as a pre-list benefit, right? Or you talk about the fact that more than likely when you get an offer, a buyer may be asking for, a home warranty. They may not. So you're touching a little bit of it on the front end. But yeah, I mean, we can just do a much better job of, putting that in place during the listing.
So, and that's a very good point. That's a very good point. One of the things now, since I keep hearing a lot of talk about this as well, when you guys are talking about, we have to, prove our worth, and everybody's worried about that. And, because of the percentages and all of this, when you're the buyer's agent and whatnot, one of the ways that when you're having those initial discussions, whether you're going to show them new construction, which we do offer new construction as well, it kicks in on day 366, whether you're talking about new construction or a house built in the 50s, okay, you can still have that discussion of, you know, when you're walking through and you're looking at something, if you see an avocado green water heater and you know, at a house that's out in a more rural neighborhood, guys, you know, this is something right here that a home warranty is going to cover for you. In the event that it has a failure, you know, you're going to have to pay a minimal dollar amount out of pocket, you know, so don't let this be something that would help, that would prevent you from purchasing a home if this is the home you fall in love with. You know what I mean? If it's something like that as you're walking through these different homes. And I'm going to give you an example. One of my agents, Angie, she purchased a home with a green avocado green water heater, knowing that when it failed, we were going to pay out on a claim for her, and she went and bought herself a new tankless water heater. Okay, because she knew that was something that was going to happen, and it did happen, and she got herself a brand new one. So I guess it's a nice way to show, provide some education, provide some guidance, and also be that resource for your people, right? When it comes up as you're looking and you're being that guide, you know, it can cover something brand new. It can cover something that may fail. The other thing I want to mention is if you work with people in the more rural neighborhoods, this is something that's been coming up a lot. We have the water heater failure due to sediment buildup. We have sewage control, excuse me, not sewage, but sump pump, primary sump pump coverage. We have water well pump for those that live in the rural areas. And we have, oh my gosh, what is that other thing called? I'm sorry. I've already been dealing with
anything with
this morning.
septic?
Yes, thank you, septic. Yes, the septic. That is something that we cover. Okay. The other places don't. We also cover water and sewer main from the exterior of the home all the way to the street. All right. So these are items that are not covered by the other people that are out there with warranties, and we do cover. Now, there might be a 30-day wait period from closing, from the date of closing till they can file a claim. But guys, that's because we do not require a home inspection, and we don't want to fix something that was already broken. And I can also tell you that I've had somebody call me and say, Holly, our water well pump is making a horrible noise. And I'm like, all right, go ahead. It's been 2 weeks since closing. Get somebody out there. Let me know what they say, and let's work through it. Long story short, that's just a gray area. And then we worked through it together. And I got, you know, the guy said it's too old. It needs to be replaced. It's going to be too costly. The parts aren't even around anymore. They needed it replaced. So it's called a market concession. And I was able to work for them and go and help them get their water pump replaced. So in those rural areas, there's not a lot of help and relief for those things. We provide that. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that too. And that's about all I have. I didn't really want to touch on pricing and throw a bunch of stuff at you because I wanted it to be more beneficial and informational.
Yeah. So Holly, I have a question. So
Sure.
you said, you know, the avocado green water heater.
Yeah.
In my experience, there's, you know, not to be negative, but there's a lot of fine print, right? And sometimes things aren't covered. So we can't, you know, when we're walking through with a client and we look at what's in the home, how do we know, like, oh, this is too old, it's not going to be covered, or this is something that, you know, I mean, do you have no age limits on what you cover on mechanicals?
So that's a great question. Normally I'm doing this in person, and I would have passed out our brochures to everybody. In the brochure, we actually put in bold what is not covered. So we're not pulling the wool over anybody's eyes. We're not trying to hide anything. There's no fine print anywhere. Well, there's fine print, but it's in bold, to answer your question. And it's right inside the warranty brochure that we make sure to hand out. We give you in print form. We give you an electronic form. We make sure that you have any documentation like that you may need. Now, there's another question that usually comes up. Well, what if my client has one of those fancy new $5,000 refrigerators? Well, if something on that fails, okay, yeah, we do have max payouts. I mean, you're spending $825 for a package. We're not going to replace a $10,000, you know, refrigerator. You know, that's why we call it budget assistance. It's not a Home Depot card, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it is based off of, it's a sliding scale. And also think of it as if you're going to trade in your, you know, if you have one of those winter cars that's got rust all over it and you're going to trade it in for a new car, think of it as what's the value going to be on that when you go to trade it in, right? I can tell you that there was a woman who the seller had put a buyer's warranty on for her. She was an older woman, and I literally had to teach her how to Google an appliance repair person for her fridge. When the guy came out, he wrote on the estimate, he's like, the repair would be too costly for this. We recommend replacing. So we sent her a check for $1,000 so she could go buy her own new refrigerator, right? And that's that on for that age of her refrigerator, that was the max payout that she could get. $1,000 is $1,000, you know.
Yep.
That probably that if she was a frugal person, I know I'm frugal, that would have bought me a nice refrigerator. Okay.
Or
I
at
don't need
least
a
gave you a good chunk towards one, right? So
exactly.
yeah.
Yes. It's budget assistance, guys. It's not, you know, it's not a Home Depot card.
Right.
But that's a great question.
I think we as agents probably have to do a much better job, and I can speak for myself only, is the fact that, you know, from the olden days of where warranties were, you know, I can honestly say I haven't had great success. Now, some of my clients as over the last current years have had some really good successes. So, but I think we have to do a better job of how we present it too. It's not like, oh, it's a home warranty. If something breaks, they'll replace it or they'll fix it, right? It's like you said, it's budget assistance. It's just like a little bit of insurance that if something does go wrong in that first year that you own that home, you know, you're more than likely going to get some assistance from this home warranty, you know, program that you've purchased or that you have
Yes.
to offset any expenses for a repair or a replacement. And it could cover a good chunk of it. It might cover a portion of it, but it's really just assistance, you know.
And you always reach out to me, you know, if you've got a customer who has a need, just reach out to me and get me involved. That's another perk. Okay. And we are 24/7 live. Yes, you can reach out to me 24/7. I may not answer if I'm sleeping, but our call center is based in the United States, in Jackson, Michigan, not a call center in a foreign country. And we're here for our people 24/7. But if there's an issue and a customer says, you know, they only gave me, you know, X amount of dollars for my claim here. Is there any way to get me any more? Well, then you say, Holly, can you please help? And yes, I can help. And I go and I get more money for your people. The other thing I wanted to mention is I am happy to provide information to anybody that would like any. I know that you had my information that you've already put up and shared. We also offer identity theft protection and home title fraud recovery. These are proactive services, and I'm going to call it LifeLock on steroids because if you were to look at the cost associated with LifeLock, it's $40 a month per social security number. Ours is less than $40 per year through our relationship with AIG. So usually when I ask the question and I have more time, hey guys, who here has been a victim of identity theft? There's a lot of hands that raise. So keep that in mind as well. That's another unique quality to us. And I am sorry to cut this short, but I have to run now.
Okay.
I have my second meeting that I literally have to drive to and Otsego.
No worries. No worries. We appreciate
But
you
I
being
love these
here.
questions. I appreciate you inviting me, Miss Kelly, and I can't wait to pop back on again. Erin, are you going to be speaking next? All right.
Yeah. And we'll put your website in the chat box, Holly, so people
Okay.
can go there because I know that you offer marketing pieces and things
Yes.
available for agents.
Yes, yes. And the
So,
one other thing I wanted to mention for you guys is we have something called Warranty Wednesday. And I know you guys had a call about social media. And this is something that we do for free for our agents. We have a library of thousands of articles that we've put together on getting your home in spring cleaning your home, or getting your home ready for winter, or all these different little things that are not just about APHW. Okay. They are true home ownership tips. Okay. And we are very happy to provide that content to you guys for free. People use it to post, to tweet, to do whatever they want to do with it. And it's, you know, it's our pleasure to enroll you for free as an agent to our Warranty Wednesday program.
and do we do that through your website, or how do we do that?
You can do that through me. And anything that you need, come to me for it. Okay. And if you're Keller Williams, Remax, EXP, whatever entity that you're with, I've got branded marketing for you. And all of the social media information I'm speaking about is also branded. If you're a boutique agency, then it doesn't need to be branded at all, but it can be branded or not branded. And that's just something else. That's another perk that we do.
Perfect. So Holly, I'll put your contact information here in the chat box, and I would encourage every agent on here to do that. Why wouldn't you want to just use free content for your posts, which is
Right.
obviously also beneficial for all your clients. So
Yes.
thank you, my dear. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so
Good
much.
luck with your hole in your roof here. Sorry, or
Thank
your leak.
you from all that rain. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much. Have a very good day, a very
All right.
blessed week, everybody. Thank
You
you.
too. Thank you. Awesome. Well, that leaves us time, Aaron. You can give us maybe what's happening out there. Anything exciting? Any word about rates lowering?
Yeah, actually, we had a couple of scenarios that we ran last Friday, that we then ran again yesterday morning, and there was a 52 basis point reduction. So for what people, I guess the math on that is on a $400,000 loan amount, that would save an additional $2,000 or 50 basis points of the loan amount off the client's closing costs. So if they took the same rate, yes, on Friday, it was, 7.125. Now we can do 6.99 with no additional costs or points to the buyer. But if they kept at 7.1, we could take $2,000 off their closing costs. So there's a lot of cool options given today's advantages of where interest rates are and what's becoming available. Especially now when it comes to understanding in certain situations, maybe we have to roll in agent comp, to the sell pays, and have the proper wordsmithing on a couple of contracts. That's only happened once or twice now since all this rolled out for me. I tend to see a lot of contracts, buy sides are still being plenty compensated on everything. So that it really hasn't popped up on my end, but if we get 3% seller pays and 2.5 can go to the buyer's agent, yet still get another 0.5% towards the closing cost paid, well, that's $2,000 plus an additional maybe 2,000 coming from our end. That's already $4,000 or half their closing cost compensated. So there's a lot of unique ways that we can look to, better the client's situation. And a lot of times, even if we take a higher interest rate, and in some cases it's a 0.5 point higher, maybe you're looking at 7.5%. Although that's not the going rate in the market, if that can cover the majority of your closing costs, and your payment only goes up maybe 50 or 60 bucks, but it saves you $6,000. Well, the math tells me that that's the way to go because you're going to refi in the next 2 years, and then the interest rate doesn't really matter because we're just dating that for a little bit. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing that I was going to bring up today in more detail, but for some reason we had to postpone it. Our company is launching a nationwide 1% down payment product. So it's pretty cool. I'll have some more details for you guys next week, but it's just 1% down payment with a forgivable grant that is not repayable, which is pretty cool. There are some restrictions to it. And just like with any down payment assistance program, you can't make too much money. There's a maximum amount of money you can make, the median, percent of the income in the area of 80%. In addition to, loan limit restrictions. It's not like I can go all the way up to 750 or anything like that. And I'll have some more details for you guys next week, maybe with a visual aid put together. But that was just kind of the short little synopsis. I was pretty excited about seeing interest rates drop over the weekend as much as they did. And with this new program rolling out, it's definitely working out pretty well. So all the feedback I've gotten recently, because we've got probably a dozen loan officers now that are also licensed EXP agents. And the feedback they get from workplace and the other ways that they're promoting this new product has been very, very, very solid. So you'll wait to see how quickly that can get rolled out. I'm assuming it'll be up and running by June 1st.
Okay, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be nice. That'll compete with kind of the Minnesota housing type stuff here in Minnesota. And obviously they have to have funds available, right? Whereas yours is going to be hopefully
Always there.
anytime.
Yeah, and that's something that we're running into, as a nationwide company, we don't do it like, for example, like Wyoming. Like I don't do enough business in Wyoming to justify to go to my president to have them spend the time and the money to get a down payment assistance program in Wyoming. And that's not the only state. There's probably, a dozen states that are like that we just don't have enough coverage in. So this blanket down payment assistance policy helps everyone in the country.
That's
So
awesome.
although certain states like Minnesota, we have our DPA here in Minnesota that I still have access to, and now in addition to this one. So we just get to use multiple products to find the best one for the clients. And if that's a down payment assistance, great. If you've got some money saved up, obviously that's the way to go too.
Yeah.
Because no money's free. Even
right.
if it's saying it's coming from Uncle Sam, they're going to get their money back one way or the other. So
right.
we'll talk more about that
Awesome.
next week.
Perfect. 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 Well, good. Anybody else have any questions or anything exciting they want to share for the week so far? We had a lot of extra time.
Right.
Nothing? Okay. Well, I would encourage you guys, going back to the home warranty, I did put Holly Littlefield's contact information in the chat box. And I would encourage you guys, if you are not using a home warranty, to, go to America's Preferred Home Warranty website, really go through that. I think everybody on here is an EXP agent. I know we'll have people watching this later that are not. They do work with the different brokerages. They do give you, I'm going to use the word incentive loosely, but, give you some money back so that you can use it for marketing purposes. But honestly, what a great way to get listings, right? Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're going to secure your property during the list time frame with no money out of your pocket. We pay at closing. And that way, if anything goes wrong, it's covered, right? Or there's budget assistance for it. And then obviously, really, if you're like me, and I'll admit it, I've just been kind of like, man, they're okay. I need to just really reread through a lot of this stuff and learn really the benefits of a home warranty package and how I can use that more as a fantastic tool, right, for our buyers. And especially in this competitive situation where we are having to be potentially in multiple offers, having to give cleaner, better offers. Maybe it's not something as part of the offer. Maybe it's something as an agent that you're kicking in for, or, obviously negotiating into as part of the deal. So don't overlook those warranty programs. And I love the fact that you can enroll with Holly and she's giving you content, right? We are always looking for good content, value add for our clients. So I would say get enrolled for free and start using the stuff that they're putting together, and you don't even have to think about it. Okay. Any other questions? Bob, you kind of walked away. Anything you got going on this week? Any value you can add since we've got some extra time?
Yeah, I would say the one thing with the home warranties that's a little bit challenging in our market right now is writing them in gives a buyer a disadvantage.
Even if they're paying for it themselves.
The other thing that typically when our I see them coming in is right after the inspection. If we feel as if we don't really want to ask for a variety of like a water heater replacement because it's end of life or furnace or anything like that, typically a home warranty will help the buyer.
Yeah, that's a great idea, because if you got to keep your offer clean on the front end to get it accepted, you still, once it's accepted, you still could probably work that home warranty in later, depending on, something, whether you kick in or whether you do have an inspection and you add it later. That's a great, great tip.
Yeah, another thing too is we used to always offer that up as a marketing piece
for the sellers at the time of listing.
Yep.
Now we really don't have to do that because
I know.
Inventory is so low.
It's not necessarily a huge incentive anymore.
Right. The only thing that I see that is different is I get that it's not necessarily an incentive because we don't need to incentivize the buyers. But I think it's a great sales tool to get your listing, right? Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're going to put this on your listing during your list period in case something happens, right? I mean, we all know we've had those situations where, boy, you put it on the market and next they call you and say, you're not going to believe this, but my you know, whatever broke. I'm like, okay, well, you're going to have to get it fixed, right? I mean, those things happen all the time. Well, if you had a warranty during the list period or that list secure program, you know, that could have been some assistance towards that repair, you know, for the seller. So even though they don't think about it as we don't need it to offer to the buyer, it might really be a protection, especially if you're listing an older home that might have some older mechanicals or older things in it. That might be a selling point. You never know, right?
Very agree.
So cool. Well, I think we learned. I learned some good things. I hope hopefully you guys picked up a few things, and we'll reach out to Holly for that value add. If there's anything we can answer for you in the meantime, let us know. Next week we're going to do an EXP explain. So if you have any other agents that you're talking to, or you yourself are interested in learning a little bit more about EXP's model, join us. And then Aaron will have you also maybe give us a little bit more information if you have it at that point in time about this new program. That'd be great.
I'd be happy to.
Awesome. Well, we'll get out of here a little bit earlier this week. You guys all have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you soon.
Sounds good.
Thanks for tuning in.